Might even grow your hair. Fine, we're exaggerating there. Microwave it or make...
Well, eggs are in the news today because the price of eggs may go up considerably in the year 2015. And it all has to do with one egg-producing state, that is the state of California, which has a new landmark animal welfare law that is going to go into effect on Thursday. And because there are 15 million egg-laying hens in California, that could affect the prices for eggs across the country, and you and I may end up paying about 40 to 50% more for eggs here in the Midwest because of California's new law. Or will our Midwest egg producers fill the gap and keep egg prices down? There's only one person to ask these questions of, and that's our Farmer Dave Schumacher. Good morning, Dave.
Hey, good morning, Paul. Interesting story, huh?
Yeah, it is. So first of all, tell me what is going on in California before we talk about egg producers here in the Midwest.
Okay, here's what they're going to do. They say that the cages that the chickens are raised in have to go to 116 square inches of space. That's up from 69 square inches of space. Now, for the average person, they don't understand, have no comprehension of what 69 square inches or 116 square inches actually is.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. The kicker is that they've passed this law, and they now have to raise the size of the chicken cages, which quite naturally you need more cages if you're going to keep the same number of chickens.
So the bottom line there is that probably animal welfare proponents went in there and said, look, we're not in love with the idea of you having this many chickens in this space anyway, but even that, it would be ridiculous when we look at the cages here. I mean, 69, that's about 8.5 inches by 8.5 inches wide. That's not a lot of space for any animal to be inside of. And so the egg-producing farms out there under this new law are either going to have, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, they'll either have to have fewer chickens or larger spaces for the number of chickens they have, which will mean a bottom line increase, right?
Correct. That's exactly what happens at this point. Now, the thing we have to look at is California is number 5 as far as egg production in the country.
Oh, I thought they were number 1. Okay.
Oh, no. They're number 5.
Okay.
Iowa's number 1. Ohio's number 2. Indiana, number 3. Pennsylvania's number 4. Missouri doesn't even rank in the top 10. But the kicker is, what the big issue of this egg issue is, if Missouri wants to sell eggs in California, the cages they come from must comply with the California law.
Ah.
That is what's got everybody around the country in somewhat of an uproar. 1/3 of Missouri's 1.7 billion eggs go to California.
Wow. It's odd that the 5th biggest egg-producing state in the country has to import that many from outside the country, but I guess you got a lot of people and they eat a lot of eggs.
They do, and that's the kick. So, you know, and Mexico is very, very, very big in egg production. I was in Guadalajara at a egg-producing operation down there. They had 1 million hens in one building. And I'll guarantee you what, those hens were living better than the hotel I was staying in Guadalajara, Mexico. State of the art. They get about 77 eggs per 100 hens. Now, you got 1 million hens in one building. You're getting 777,000 eggs per day out of that building.
Mm-hmm.
26 employees.
Wow.
State of the art. Cleanest facility. We had to get sprayed down. They sprayed the bus before we could come in. We had to walk through stuff for our shoes. They put us in a room of all glass. We never could get near, touch, smell, see. I mean, you could see them, but they had an observation area so the outside public could never contaminate their chickens.
So coming back to the United States, Dave, I'm curious, is there a move now to go cage-free?
There is. There's always that percentage, but it ain't going anywhere. No, it ain't going to happen. You can all preach it, and everybody can talk about it. 2.9% of our chickens in the United States are cage-free.
Mm-hmm.
Out of a lot of chickens.
How
many eggs? What do you think the per capita production or consumption is of eggs? You might have that in your numbers.
I don't have any numbers on this in my head, but I know that I probably eat several dozen eggs a year.
They average 261 eggs per capita. Now, somebody's eating 500 because I don't hardly eat an egg. So somebody's eating 500. But you have to also consider that's also in baking, other ways other than a scrambled egg.
Yeah, it's in cakes, it's in French toast, It's in Egg McMuffins, of course, and all the rest. Which brings me to the big corporations. I know that sometimes corporations like McDonald's and Burger King and anybody who's in the breakfast business, First Watch and others across the country, they sometimes will bow to political pressure from pressure groups when it comes to that sort of stuff. And if they do that, they kind of lead the way towards change when it comes to what's happening on the farm. Do we see any of that in the egg business yet?
Well, that's kind of what's happening to some degree here. There was some support for this law, and I'm not against it, but these producers, whether it's pork, it's beef, it's chicken, these guys make a living with these animals. These animals aren't healthy. These animals die. They're not making anything. The producers do a great job. It's their livelihood. It's no different than your radio show. You come in there and throw some junk on the air, and the next thing you know, you're like McGraw on vacation. Where, so every day that you've got to put together a show or you don't survive.
Yeah.
And it's no different than a farmer and a producer. They know they've got to take care of these animals. They've got to feed them the best ration available. They've got to take care of them. They're not just stuffing a bunch of birds in cages and saying, here, lay an egg for me and I'm out of here.
That being said, do you see the California law rolling out and affecting the rest of the country, not just in terms of exporting eggs to California, but are they going to have to change all of the cages here because of the law in California?
It'll come to that. Eventually, it will come to that. Now, either that or the Missouri growers or producers just quit shipping eggs to California. But there will be other states come online with this now that California got it done.
Mm-hmm. A lot of opposition to it, though, from the farm community?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's against it because it cost a lot to renovate your facilities and that type stuff. So
let's go back to the basic question I wanted to start with here. Am I and all of our listeners going to start paying more for eggs after January 1st?
I don't think so. Egg production's up 2% from last year in the United States. We're already producing more eggs than we were. And I don't see, now they could see it in California, an increase in egg prices. Because number one, they're going to have to import some. We make it tougher. Maybe we quit sending them to them. So 1/3 of our eggs going into California suddenly don't go to California.
Yep.
The supply in California could get tight.
There you go.
And prices could go up. Here's another little real quick. I know you're about out of time.
That's okay.
California. All right. Other regulations that go into effect the first of the year in California.
Yep.
California restaurants that serve olives, bread, and chicken must warn their consumers they sell cancerous products.
Olives and bread
and
chicken cause cancer?
That's the law. Yep. That's the law.
Is that going to affect us here?
I wouldn't know how because I think everybody's going to go, right, and just keep eating.
Yeah. Dave, have a very happy New Year.
Hey, same to you guys.
Thank you very much. Farmer Dave Schumacher, possibly the longest employed personality here on the Big 550 KTRS. If it's not him, then it's Frank O'Pinion, who will be here this afternoon from 3 to 6 with the large morning show in the afternoon. One other thing I got to mention here at the